90-Day Fiancé's resident throuple, Matt and Amani Jlassi, and Haney Eni Aguirre, have struggled with their unconventional relationship, and the more time goes on, the more I'm convinced that Amani is actually the issue. Amani and Matt, from San Diego, had been together for 10 years when they decided to bring in a third partner, Eni, whom they met on vacation in Mexico. Matt, Amani, and Eni had been in a throuple for about a year before cameras began following their story on 90-Day Fiancé Season 11. They are the first throuple to be featured on the series. 90-Day Fiancé has exposed audiences to many types of relationships, some more traditional, and some less so. Matt, Amani, and Eni's relationship definitely qualifies as non-traditional. Eni lives in Tijuana, which is just a short distance from San Diego, but in an entirely different country. The only way to bring Eni to the US is for Matt and Amani to get legally divorced, so one can marry Eni and bring her over on a K-1 visa. Amani got jealous of Eni and Matt's relationship. They had to establish rules. If traditional relationships are complicated, polyamorous ones can be extra complicated. The individuals involved need to have clear rules and firm boundaries, which Matt, Amani, and Eni failed to set before their Mexican vacation. Early in the trip, Amani discovered that Matt and Eni had been intimate without her. She'd gone to bed, and the two were physical, thinking there wouldn't be any issues, since they were all together on the trip. Amani became jealous of Matt and Eni's intimate experience because she wasn't involved in it, and she wasn't aware of it. She didn't give them permission, which is apparently something important to Amani. I would think that this is something they would have discussed by now, but they hadn't. I would think that if someone were going to take part in a throuple, they would know whether they were the jealous type or not. I have a theory that Amani is secretly competitive with Matt. Amani is the breadwinner in their family, and Matt appears to be a stay-at-home dad. I think Amani's domineering personality is partly because she's competitive with Matt. When Eni and Matt crossed a boundary for Amani, she got extremely upset, and made them feel like they'd done something wrong. This ended up being the impetus for them to establish some rules for their relationship, which should have happened already, but better late than never. Amani told Matt that Eni loves her more than him. Amani threw a temper tantrum. Amani said she felt like things were starting to go more in favor of Matt, which proves to me that she is competing with him for Eni's affections. Amani is keeping score, saying that Eni introduced Matt as her boyfriend, and she kissed Matt first when they all met. Amani's motives might be less about being with Eni, and more about her underlying issues with Matt. After Amani found out about Eni and Matt's tryst, she became more defensive and more jealous. She started creating conflict, first by saying that Eni wasn't taking her seriously in the relationship, and then by throwing a tantrum at a winery where they were all enjoying dinner. Eni tried to console Amani, but she said in a confessional that Amani's reaction scared her. When Eni ended up telling Amani that she didn't care about Matt, and that she loved Amani more than she loved Matt, Amani looked relieved. Despite feeling insecure about Matt and Eni, Amani sighed and said, "That's kind of the problem," when Eni said she had more feelings for Amani than Matt. Amani's comment confused me. She's feeling insecure, yet she says the problem is that Eni cares too much about her. This feels like it will be a problem for the throuple moving forward. Amani blamed Matt for withdrawing after she hurt him. Amani couldn't wait to tell Matt what Eni said. 90-Day Fiancé's Amani Jlassi looking angry with wine casks behind her. Amani seemed almost giddy to hear that Eni had stronger feelings for her than she did for Matt. She didn't tell Matt for a couple of days, though. However, from my perspective, she seemed excited to tell him. Amani wants to be everyone's favorite in the throuple. She wants Matt to be focused on her more than Eni, and she wants Eni to be more focused on her than Matt. Amani told Matt that Eni said that she was only in the relationship for Amani, and doesn't feel the same way about Matt as she does about Amani. Amani slightly misconstrued Eni's words, since Eni said she cared about Amani more than Matt, but Eni didn't say that she was only there for Matt. Eni might love Amani more, but she still has love for Matt. I think Amani exaggerated Eni's words because she wanted to make Matt feel jealous and insecure, just like she'd been feeling. In a throuple, all three partners must be attuned to each other's feelings. There can't be jealousy and game playing. I'm concerned that, for Amani, this is more about winning than it is about being in a healthy relationship.